Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons in Deepdish. Today I have a very special guest with me, uh, Harper. Hello, thank you for stopping by. I'm not great with introductions, so if you'd like to introduce yourself, please
Uh,
do.
sure. Thanks for inviting me. I wasn't actually expecting to get invited on after I filled out your Google Drive form. So I was like, whoa, yeah, of course I'll come on. Hi everyone, I'm Harper. I am a general TTRPG nerd, and I am the co-host of a Dungeons and Dragons podcast called Chaotic Creations, where we just make really weird characters every week.
I mean, and I have just started listening to this podcast, and I do have to say, I so just to be transparent with you, we're basically going to be continuing a bunch of conversations we already started. So I just wanted to tell you again, I really do enjoy what you guys are putting out. I had no idea that it's only 4 weeks old. You said this is
Yeah,
you're just starting essentially.
we put out episodes on Wednesdays, and this last Wednesday was our fourth full episode.
So it's very good. Essentially,
Thank you.
essentially you give each other weird prompts to make characters, and you just go through that character creation process live on a podcast. And with anything character creation, goofs are gonna be just potent. I don't know if you ever made a BioWare character, but you can't help but laugh when you do it. So it's the same thing for D&D. I have to ask, what has been your favorite prompt so far in your podcast?
Oh gosh. I suppose this is a spoiler alert because this is an episode that's coming out in a couple of weeks,
Oh,
so you'll get a sneak peek.
Exclusives. I'm sorry.
No. So in a couple of weeks, it's my birthday, and it was my co-host's turn to create a character based off of a prompt from me, and I'm a total narcissist, and so I said, hey, can you make a character that's based on my real world stats? Like, I went and took a quiz and found my real world stats, and I was like, can you make them the exact opposite of me? Like, exactly not what I am in real life.
Mega Harper.
Yeah.
So you made your own villain. Okay. So
Kind of, yeah.
you know what? I'm not. I want to know everything about it, but the episode is coming out, so that's one more reason for you to catch out the Chaos Creation podcast. It really is accessible. The first episode is just about five or so minutes, so you can get a feel for the vibe of the host, which is brilliant. More podcasts need to do that, so you don't feel intimidated by coming into like a 3-hour episode.
Yeah, I think our first couple episodes are just like an intro. Like, we made the first one our origin story because my co-host Darby and I have been pretty good friends for about 5 years now. But like, I was playing TTRPGs way before we started being friends, and Darby is relatively new. She's been playing for only about a couple of years.
Okay.
So the first episode just runs through that and how we became friends, and it involves Pokemon Go and failed session zeros.
And a broom aggressively tapping the ceiling, if I recall.
Oh, yes.
Like I said, very accessible. There's no reason for you all not to check out this podcast. It's a good one. It is definitely a good one. You know,
Thank you very much.
It's strange. Your relationship with Darby started via Pokemon Go.
Yes.
Even though you were neighbors. Like, I don't know why, but that is amusing to me because it's so nerdy. It's just like you could live next to somebody for fucking years, but then it's Pokemon that's just like, no, friends.
I think it was that we were casual acquaintances, and then we became friends through Pokemon Go, and then we became neighbors, and we were like, oh no, we're good friends now.
So I have to ask the most important question. Now
Go
that
for
we
it.
touched on this, what is your Pokemon Go team? There is a right answer.
Oh my gosh. My Pokemon, like my just general Pokemon team.
Yeah.
Hold on, I actually have thought of this. I have it on a note on my notes app.
Are you Valor?
Oh, that team. I like
I
have my full 6 Pokemon team, like my dream team too. I am Team Mystic.
Okay.
Yeah, so blue team.
I can live with that.
Are you Team Valor?
You know I'm Team Valor.
You give off the vibe of a Team Valor person.
But it's Team Instinct that I hate because they think they're the hot shit. I can't. They own everything around me. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with Team Instinct in Chicago. But
my neighborhood is constantly in contention. There's no one team that dominates.
At least there are fewer Instinct. Exactly. So who's your 6? Because you're getting ready to pull that out real quick.
Oh yeah, I have it on a notes app on my phone. I'm pulling it up right now. So I don't know why, because I like to think of myself as a very like friendly, nice person most of the time, right? But I'm very drawn to the dark types and the poison types in Pokemon. I don't know what that says about me.
Oh my god.
So my dream team would be Umbreon, Scolipede, Nidoqueen, Toxtricity, Bisharp, and Weavile.
Don't want to fight you. Like, I am all about the fire, fighting, and psychic types. Those are my babies. Like,
I mean, those are some good types.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is, I don't remember the latest generation because I just got Shield, I think it was.
Yeah, Shield! That's the one I play.
Yeah, even though I would die for my little Burn Bunny, or whatever the fuck he's called. Like,
Score Bunny! I also picked Score Bunny as my starter.
Perfect. See, yes. This is why you got picked. I did a deep dive into your Pokemon habits, and that's what got you. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, okay. So sorry, I could go on about Pokemon Go forever because
I could too.
I mean, the stories I have to tell. I have seen some shit because of Pokemon Go. It's kind of died off recently, but again, we're off topic. So one of the things that I always ask my guests is, especially when they have a project like yours where you're focusing on this podcast, is ultimately what do you feel is the goal of your podcast? Like, if you had the wish spell that you can shape what tomorrow looks like in terms of you, Darby, and your podcast, what would it look like? Oh
wow, that's a really hard question.
Yep.
When we were first talking about the podcast and I was editing our very first episode, Darby and I talked about it and I said, look, the ultimate dream is to get somebody to draw fan art of our characters. And once we hit that, it's like everything else is just bonus on top of that. But like eventually, like I really do love podcasts. I've been listening to podcasts for years now. I've just gotten into making them, but I would love to, and I mean, I'm nowhere near at this point yet, but to the point where this is something that I can do at least semi-professionally, because I absolutely love podcasts. I love audio storytelling. I love talking about TTRPG. I love that it gives me an excuse to talk to other people that I've never met before.
Exactly. I feel the exact same way, and that's kind of the reason that I ask that is because I do generally, whenever I ask this question, I do feel like everybody wants to do this professionally, but I feel like it almost seems like that's a little bit of a dirty word to some people. You know, people like, you know, how can you do it for the love of the game? And I'm like, I've been playing TTRPGs forever because of the love of the game. There's nothing wrong with like wanting to get paid $1 million to play a game.
Yeah, no, there's not. Like, if I'm being honest, like, yeah, I would love to someday be able to make like any dollar amount from making the podcast because it does take quite a bit of effort.
Well, I mean, you're running a podcast, and I really don't think that people appreciate just how difficult a task that is. Like I was telling you before, like the reason that I do this and not podcast is because I got fat boy breath. So it's just like, and then I roll initiative. and nobody wants to hear that. Like, that's a lot of editing that you have to do. So yeah,
learning the editing process has been, well, it gave me a better appreciation of the podcast that I do listen to, but also I love it because I sound so much smarter on edited episode of the podcast than I do in real life.
I haven't heard you say yet here though, so kudos to you. I think I've had at least 3 or 4.
I'm trying to break myself from the habit because I have to listen to my own voice constantly, and I hate listening to myself say
So, what editing program do you use for your podcast?
Right now, we're going as budget as we can, so I use Audacity because it's free and it's got all the tools that I need.
Yeah, I use GarageBand when I was doing it because I'm also living that broke boy life.
Yeah.
But so you're talking about some of your favorite podcasts. I would love to get a sample of what Harper is listening to.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a long list. My first ever podcast that I still listen to this day was Potterless, which I love because we were talking about a little bit earlier being bad at video games and how that's like a whole genre of content. This is basically a guy who never read Harry Potter as a kid and is going back as a like adult our age and reading the books for the first time. And like Harry Potter's kind of a contentious subject right now.
Yeah.
But it was one of the things that I liked growing up, and I like that he basically tears it to shreds in a very kind way. Like, they're kids' books. They're full of plot holes and things that don't make sense. And he's just like, what the hell is this? So that's very fun.
I've got to check that out. What's the name of that one more time?
It's called Potterless, like Pottermore, that old website.
Okay, that's cool.
That nobody needs to go to, and I think changed the name, but Potterless. And then, oh gosh, just a couple of the podcasts that I have started listening to since starting our podcast, a bunch of the tabletop gaming podcasts. So there's Not Quite Heroes, which is a really excellent actual play. If you're into Pokemon, the Not a Scratch podcast is a mystery dungeon actual play. So that's very fun. And then, oh gosh, we just recorded today an episode with the A Couple of Characters podcast, which is a very similar premise to ours, but they kind of do more deep dive into certain parts of the character creation process.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try and give you one more, and I'm trying not to pick favorites because I'm not kidding when I say that there are like 40 podcasts every week that pop up on my feed. I think probably my other favorite, and my co-host Darby just messaged me that she's hanging out in the chat right now, would be
Darby.
Ironbound.
I love you, puppy.
Would be Ironbound Chest, which is an interview podcast where they Austin, who's the host, pulls in a different host from a TTRPG podcast every single week and talks to them about tabletop and talks to them about life, and it's just a really good interview show.
Okay. I've got some to add to my list. Even though I've got a bunch on my list already that aren't finished.
This is the problem with podcasts. You start and then you can never stop.
It's never over. It's never over, especially if they're like really good storytelling ones. Right. I used to listen to Hello from Magic Tavern.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one, but I've never got into it.
I hopped on it mainly because it's fantasy in Chicago, and that's my bread and butter. And I can't go back to it because they've advanced so far ahead now. It's just I don't know anything that's happening.
This is why I didn't want to make an actual play. I wanted to make a podcast where you could hop in at any episode and it would make sense because it's not continuous. You can listen to them in whatever order you want. You can skip episodes if you don't like the sound of one of them, and you're not going to miss anything.
That's actually pretty clever because it's just like, because if it is continuous content, you can want to come back, but Jesus, it's just trying to pick up the pieces. It's too much work. There's homework. Ugh. So now I have to ask, going back to your podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that you have a prompt in mind that's really going to throw Darby for a loop? Because I kind of feel like there's a competitive aspect to your podcast where it's just like, I'm going to dunk on you this episode.
We're generally pretty collaborative. Like, even when one of us gives a prompt, the other helps out because we're like, we don't want to throw you up a creek without a paddle. We're not trying to screw you on
You're
mic.
a much better person than I am.
But I don't want to tell you the one that I'm giving her for her next episode because
don't tell me. I just want to know if you've got something that'll throw her for a loop.
So I have one. I was driving home from my workout yesterday, and I had the thought in the car, laughed out loud, pulled over to write it down so I wouldn't forget it, and then kept driving.
Oh, 1 second. So sorry there, Chat's asking to turn the music down a smudge, and I would be more than happy to, because they keep playing weird songs. Anyway, but I do love the mental image of you just driving and like cackling madly to yourself.
I will say that I got the idea while listening to an ad on the radio, but I'm not going to say an ad for what, because I don't want Darby to have any warning.
All right. So just checking in with you again, chat. I've increased my sound a bit. How we sounding? We okay? We Gucci? We not Gucci? So sorry. I got a little too into the conversation and wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna continue assuming that we're Gucci, and I will change it if somebody says not Gucci. All right, cool. So with that, geez, I have to ask, because one of the things that personally I noticed is that, like, for Dungeons and Deepdish, I had the idea for a while, and it took me a few efforts to actually make it something. And this is generally something that I'm running by myself because I don't know that I have the skill to collaborate. How many iterations of the Chaos Creation podcast were there before it finally took off? Because it's like one of the things that like I was talking to you about before is that it's so well done, it's so well organized. You have your website, it's easily found, like it's solid, which is why I didn't believe you that it's only 4 weeks old. Like, there's no fucking way. But like it's so good. I'm just curious, how many attempts did this take?
I mean, you're gonna hate the answer, which is that in mid-August, like I think like August 10th or 11th of this year, I called Darby because again I had an idea while in the car, because I've wanted to start a podcast for a while, but I didn't have a solid idea.
Right.
And so I called Darby immediately after I got home and I said, hey, I have an idea for a podcast. I want to create characters live on mic. And Darby, who loves Dungeons and Dragons, said, absolutely, I'm in. Don't need to hear the details. And we basically jumped right into coming up with a name, grabbing all of the social media handles that we needed, and recording. And it was about a month later that our first episode came out. So basically, we hit the ground running. We were like, we want to, like, I maybe have too high of standards for myself sometimes, but when I was editing, I'm like, I need this to sound really good from the jump, because there's a lot of podcasts that I listen to that started off with not great quality and got better over time. And I'm like, no, I want to start off sounding awesome and then just get better. And so, like, I think I spent more time editing our first episode than I have any of the other episodes that have come since combined, because I was so concerned with making it sound perfect.
I mean, did you learn how to do the editing with the first episode, or did you?
I did.
That makes sense. Okay.
So I mean, in reality, it's maybe been about 2 months since I had the idea for this podcast, and now our fourth episode is up.
That is wild. That is wild and a little infuriating. But why?
I'm just like, I have an idea. I want to get going on it so I don't lose motivation.
So, as you know, one of the parts of this show is that we have you create a character essentially on the fly, which I've already discussed with you, is that it's one of the things that generally throws people for a loop, like with some of the other people that we've got signed on to do the show. That's not going to be a problem for you.
I really hope not. I hope that I don't just have like a creative brain freeze in the middle of character creation, because that feels like it happens sometimes. But I think that I've had enough training at this point with just coming up with characters in 5 minutes that I'm like, I can make something playable.
So let's talk about your character creation process, which is
sure.
Like, so you've got the skill of being able to create something on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
How did you develop that? Because I still know people that get stuck with choice paralysis, where it's just like, I could be anything, I don't know what to be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting because the way that I make characters for my home games that I play in is very different from the way that I make characters for the podcast.
Okay.
But they kind of start in the same way, which is that I always start with just like an idea. Like I pick one thing that I want to be true about the character, and I build the entire character off of that. So like,
okay,
with the character that I play in my home game right now, I was like, I want to create a noble who is not a part of a noble family. And I made this entire character based on that thought.
So where do you think that thought came from? Like that's an interesting take. Like, I want to be a noble, but not from a noble house. Like, where do you think that comes from for you?
I mean, I think it just comes from the fact that I am a huge reader. I've always read a ton of books. Like, I'm the kind of person who buys a book from the bookstore and then stays up all night to read the whole thing in one go. And I read a lot of books, and it sucks. I actually don't think that I'm a very creative person. Like, I do a lot of creating, but I don't think that I come up with any of my own ideas, because every character that I've ever made is in some way inspired by a character that I've read about before.
Right.
Or a person that I've met in real life. And I think having them based upon those like real, quote unquote, real people makes it a lot easier for me to imagine that character as a person, because then I can also say, okay, but how am I going to make this character different from the character that I've read about? What can I change about it? And also, how would I have changed them in the story? Because I rarely find a character who I'm like, why did you do that? in a book.
So you hit quite the mood, in the sense that I've felt that exact same way with character creation and with DMing. You know, when I'm creating a character, of course, it's generally going to be inspired by protagonists or antagonists that I've read about or I've seen that I love. And like, I've also had that struggle of like, well, is this too much that character? Or is it obvious that I took this character and this character did that with him, and now that's who this guy is? How do you reconcile that? Because I think I tend to try and crank up one of the aspects to like 11 to try and be so obnoxiously, or not obnoxiously, but so aggressively one thing that you don't see all the rest of the ingredients, you know, if that makes any sense.
Right, yeah. I don't know. I constantly think, because I also try to write, like, I'm trying to be a writer. I'm not that great at it, because to me, everything I write feels very derivative of something else. But I often think of the quote, which is that good writers borrow from other writers and great writers steal from them outright. And so I don't mind when my characters feel a lot like characters that you've seen before, because that's why we have tropes. It's why we have archetypes. There's something to build upon. And then I try to pick one or two things that go against the archetype, that like reverse the trope.
Okay.
And I try and change what it is with every character because that's what makes the character unique and interesting. Like, how do they differ from everything you've seen before?
Yeah, I like that. I really do like that. One of the things that I love about TTRPG, just in essence of it, is because it's so collaborative. I feel like a lot of the times what you bring to the table, if you're in a good table with people that you trust and you're comfortable with, you tend to leave the table with something that you couldn't have planned for. And
Right.
so
Yeah, exactly.
so I think that's another great way to just kind of to embrace that, great authors still outright, being able to trust yourself enough to be like, I'm gonna yoink this, and trust the table to just be like, all right, we're gonna put Indiana Jones in Star Wars. He's not gonna leave the same Indiana Jones he came in as. Like,
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
so no,
And I mean, you touched upon it with the collaborative part. Like, that's my favorite part about tabletop is that, I mean, I love video games. I love RPGs. But the thing that keeps me playing Dungeons and Dragons more often than I played video games is that I love collaborative storytelling. Like I said, I don't think I'm that creative of a person, but like when I am sitting around a table with my best friends, because that's who these people who are in my group are, like we are making a story together, and I, like my DM and the other players at my table, like Darby, my co-host, all have such wonderful creative minds, and we all bring such different perspectives to the game, and we all bring different like ways of looking at the world. And when you can combine all of those into a single story, it becomes much deeper and richer than it would be like if it was like a one note, I'm just writing a story about this character.
Right. Yeah, the magic in TTRPG are the tables, the collaboration. And with that, I kind of want to talk about your main collaborator on your podcast. Let's talk about
Yes,
Darby.
let's embarrass her.
Let's talk about Darby for a little bit. Because Darby is actually how I found you and your podcast. I think one day I tweeted like, hey, I'm on Snapchat. Who wants to be my Snapchat friend? Darby was one of the ones that said yes, and has been blessing my Snapchat with just the most adorable puppy. So thank you for that. But I have to ask, like, you work with this person day in and day out on this podcast, and one, choosing somebody to work with on a project that you care about is nerve-wracking.
Yes.
Or at least for me it is, because it's just like, I've been on projects where I come in with this person and we work and we're best friends, and then at the end of it, I want to fucking strangle them. So it's just like, how did you make the choice? Like, it's definitely Darby. Darby is the one that we're doing this podcast with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first reason that Darby was kind of the best and only choice for this is that Darby and I have the interesting shared stress coping mechanism of making Dungeons and Dragons characters. Like, for a few months before we even started talking about the podcast, we would just call each other if we had nothing to do during the middle of the day. And we would be like, hey, what character are you working on right now? I'm working on a dwarf monk. What are you working on right now? I'm working on a werewolf cleric. I don't know. And we would just talk about them, and we would help each other build them into more interesting characters. I mean, we both, like, there are lots of different kinds of TTRPG players. We're both role players through and through. We love the roleplay aspect. I think that you can take any character, no matter how bad the stats are, and make them interesting as long as they have a good backstory and you have fun playing them. So Darby and I already had that shared thing that we loved to do. And also, I know that Darby is a person who has, like, she'll hate that I'm saying this. I think that Darby is the most creative person that I know. she always has amazing ideas. Like, she never comes in with a boring or idea or an idea that she's done before. And so I was like, oh man, if I'm going to be doing this podcast and we're making it to last, I have to ask Darby to come in, because she's not like with her and I working together, we're not going to run out of ideas.
Right.
Which was my big concern about this podcast.
I gotta say, you guys, the energy, you can feel you two vibing off of each other, and Darby has an enthusiasm that is just, it's fun to listen to.
She does. I will also say that Darby is much funnier than I am, and I wanted this to be a funny podcast, so I was like, let me ask my funny friend.
No, you guys got the classic straight man goof thing going on, and it switches every now and then. I like it.
We joke, a variation on that, we joke that of the podcast, because I do most of the like scheduling and reaching out to people to be guests, and I do the editing, is that I'm the brain cell of the podcast, and Darby, who's like super punny and really great at establishing rapport with our guests, and always has amazing stories to tell, she's the tangent of the podcast. So our podcast consists of a brain cell and a tangent, and that's the hosting team.
I gotta tell you, I don't know how you deal with puns.
I mean, I've been friends with Darby for 5 years, and at some point you just kind of become numb to them. Like, I've heard her make puns so often, and she can actually literally make a pun about anything within like 5 seconds. And it almost becomes an art form at that point.
I think I found Darby in chat. I think Darby is Dead Flower Grill, because
that is in fact Darby. Yes.
Yeah, that would physically hurt me. Somebody, we need to get her blocked from the channel. No, I'm just kidding. Roll with the punches. Okay.
Darby is the reason that whenever I'm promoting our podcast, I always mention that there's going to be bad jokes. Because I love her jokes, but they are kind of objectively like, they're like quote unquote bad jokes. They're dad jokes, but we're not dads, so they're bad jokes.
Yes, you have no right to tell those dad jokes.
But we do anyway, and that's I think part of the fun.
So what has been the most difficult aspect of putting all this together?
Oh man, we have scrapped so many episodes.
Really?
Like, there have been a few that we've recorded, especially in the beginning, where, like I said, I wanted us to have really high standards straight from the beginning. There were some where the audio quality was just not there. And I was like, there was too much background noise. We didn't even think to turn off our air conditioners until 3 episodes in. Because I mean, we both live in very hot cities, and it was August when we were recording them. And
are you recording at home, or are you recording in a studio?
We're both recording at home, and we are recording from separate cities, so we have to rely on Discord to communicate.
Gotcha.
While we do the podcast. And I mean, the hard part about having to scrap those episodes is because of the nature of the podcast, those characters aren't going to see the light of day. And I love every single character that we create. We never scrapped an episode because the character was a bad idea. I've loved every character that we've made, but for other reasons we had to scrap them, and so they will never see the light of day.
Oh.
And there was an episode just this last week where we recorded with a guest, and it was such a funny, amazing episode. And then we lost the audio.
Oh.
That was such a good character, and it's never going to be put into the world now, and it just makes me sad. Because, I mean, we put so much effort into making these detailed and rich backstories for these characters. And we want to play all the characters that we make, and obviously we can't, which is why we publish the character sheets online. We're here, you go play it, run free, child. But we're never going to be able to play all the characters, so the fact that some of these characters are just kind of gonna sit as finished character sheets and never played makes my heart hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, what is the end game with all these characters that you've made?
Oh man. I have so many ideas for like what we can do as the characters when we have enough of them. Like I said, I am a writer, so I'd love to create like an anthology of short stories based on these characters. I think that because my partner does pen and pencil drawings of every character that we make, I would love to do like a coloring book with these characters in them, maybe. I would like, we talked about it where we're like, maybe once we have a certain number of guests come on, we'll have them come on and do a one shot with their characters as a party that they've made.
Yeah.
So we've just got a lot of ideas that are bouncing around in our heads of like what we can do as we get more and more characters.
Okay. I the coloring book idea is extraordinarily unique. I love that.
Thank you.
That would be, like, so to talk just the business side of things, with a lot of shows, with a lot of like podcasts and Twitch shows and whatnot, a lot of people have Patreons and they don't have content that or some of them come out with Patreons before they have content that's even like, you know, even viable. You just listed off a bunch of shit that I would be interested in. Like, I mean, one, you know, there are tons of books on like, drive-through RPG that's just NPCs, and like listening to the creation of the NPC and then being able to use it, like that would be something that would be like incredibly awesome. So like I'm very eager to see where y'all go with this, because it's just like so much there
we have so many plans, but we're like, and maybe it is a little bit of that imposter syndrome kicking in too, because we are extraordinarily lucky. Like, it is not normal for a podcast to be 4 episodes in and already have over 200 downloads. Like, that's amazing to me. Like, I'm still kind of in shock that people are actually listening to us. I thought that we would have to have a backlog of like 30 episodes before anyone would take a chance on listening.
Oh, no. And honestly, they should have more. Go and listen to this podcast. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. I just, soon as I listened to it, I was just like, oh, this is gonna be so much fun.
But like, part of it is that Darby and I both have this feeling of like, oh, but like this could be better, and we're still really new. How soon is too soon to start doing certain things that we're thinking about? So like, we have plans to maybe someday have a Patreon, maybe someday be able to do like a bunch of extra things that we want to be able to do. We want to build on this because it is so much fun. But I don't know, it's just like trying to kick my brain into believing that the podcast is good enough for that. And I think that I probably won't believe that until we hit, like I said, like it's 30. I think it's probably going to be fewer than that, but like a certain number of episodes and a certain number of listeners and people actually telling me, no, actually we like it.
Well, you know what? Let's try and push them to whatever that number is. I understand completely the imposter syndrome thing. Still getting my ass kicked by that myself. So
yeah, again, it's a hard one to beat.
It really is. I mean, because the idea that you can make a living chasing something that you love and that you're passionate about is ultimately something that we have been raised not to believe.
Yeah.
We've all been given the roadmap to the white picket fence, and nowhere in that was play Dungeons and Dragons or TTRPGs for a living. So it's just like
no, not at all.
Yeah. So that's another reason why I love having conversations like this with people who are creating shit that I think is absolutely fantastic. It's because honestly, it's selfish. I'm like, if they feel the imposter syndrome, then there's no reason that I should, because they're what they're making is incredible.
Yeah, no, there's no reason you should either. Like I know that, like, I don't watch Twitch that often, but I have watched some of your streams that you've done of playing, and you're an amazing role player. And Darby, I know, is one of your biggest fans. She loves watching your streams. Like I aspire to that level of role playing. Like I say that I'm a role player, but like I'm not that good at it. Like I just like doing it.
I like, and the thing is, like, what I love about your podcast, and I'm sorry if I'm gushing, like I try not.
No,
to go
please
full
gush.
fanboy.
I do enjoy
not
hearing
to go
it.
full fanboy, but I'm going to. It's just, I love when somebody can take a simple concept and do it so masterfully that all I want to do is watch it. Like, you don't have, like, character creation is something that we all enjoy in this hobby. It's the moment where you stop being you and you start being whatever the fuck you choose to be, which is essentially the magic of TTRPGs. I don't have to be the 5'5" dude that I am. I could choose to be 7'2" like I lied on my Tinder about. Just kidding. But it's just that's a magic moment where you get to stop being who you have to be and be who you choose to be. And you took you and Darby took a magnifying lens on that process, and you just injected so much joy and fun into it, and you bring us all into it. And like, I just, again, that is why, you know, I am telling everybody to watch this, not for any other reason than it's a podcast that genuinely makes you happy to listen to, and we could use that right about now. So that's the end of my gushing.
Thank you. No, I really do. Thank you so much. We have got so much positive feedback in the past couple of weeks, and like, the only way that I'm ever going to get over my imposter syndrome is that I crave external validation from people. That's why I'm doing a podcast. That's why I like to, like, call my friends. Right? Like, I'm the friend who gives you a phone call. I don't text my friends and warn them. I'm that friend, and that's probably the worst thing about me in my friends' eyes.
You know,
but like, I need to talk to people sometimes, and sometimes I need them to tell me that what I'm doing is a good thing, because I'm not always the best at telling myself that.
No, I feel that. I do have to ask, what is your sign?
My sign?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Libra.
Okay. No, that's cool. Now, Darby, if you're listening, can I find out what your sign is?
Darby's an Aquarius.
Oh, okay. All right. It fits. You know, as long as nobody's a Pisces. That's all. That's right, Pisces. I got it out for you. No, I have been friends with Pisces in the past, and I'm no longer friends with those Pisces, so... They're slippery. They're tricky. You can't trust them. Yeah, I feel like you had a bad experience with the Pisces at some point, and that's clouding your vision. God damn it, Darby. Get out of my chat. This is what this kind of humor is what you can look for. What a humor in the chat is what you can look for if you listen to the podcast. Darby is full of these. No, the thing that gets me is that there are two back to back. So like, once I felt the pain of the first one, the second one just came out of nowhere and knocked the rest of the air out of me. It's like main pun, offhand pun. She won't stop. You get her going. This is what I'm saying. You get her going and she'll just keep going. Get her out of here. Okay. So now we're gonna get to the portion where we start to discuss the character that you're going to make for the one shot. Like, I'm scared to look at my chat now because she's terrorized. Darby, be nice. We want Nora to invite us back. No, you both are always welcome here. We are going to figure out what level your character is going to be. Yes, please. So, I told Noir beforehand. I came in with absolutely no plan, none at all. I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you are new to Dungeons and Deepdish, hello, you might be a little confused. This is the one-on-one interview show that ends with the one-on-one one-shot because I like saying the word one. We don't know anything about the story that Harper is about to embark on. We don't even know what level it is. That's what this is going to help us do. I'm going to roll this d20, meaning that Harper could be either a level 1 character or a level 20 character. And we're going to see where where the die take us today. Got a little dice tray here, and we're going to.
I'm so concerned.
Okay, did we roll this last week? All right, so Harper, you are playing a level 17 hero.
Oh, yes. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for 10 years, and I've never gotten to play higher than a level 11 characters. This is gonna be so fun. Okay.
So, the next thing that we do on the show is because I like taking apart the character creation portion too. But I'm more interested in how each person does it. So my first question is, hearing the level, where does your brain go, like, immediately?
My brain immediately says, I don't absolutely hate myself, and I have 15 minutes to make a character. I am going to make a martial class.
But you know what? That's wise. That is wise.
Yep.
But
level 17, it's a fun thing to play around with. So I'd like to play a character that also has a little bit of oomph, a little bit of something to him. So it's probably not going to be a fighter or a barbarian. I might.
Sounded like we're looking at Paladin.
Oh, I mean, it's funny because on the podcast, Darby and I always introduce ourselves by our real world class and alignment. Darby is a chaotic, tired bard, and I am a lawful, nerdy paladin. So I'm naturally drawn to the paladin class.
Me too. I love them so much.
They are so good. I love them so much. I think that they are criminally stereotyped. I think
just a handful of assholes plays amazing class poorly, and we all gotta suffer for it.
Yep. And my big thing about paladins, the thing that I love about them, and that people never pay attention to about, I guess I'm playing a paladin now because I'm talking about them so much, is that a paladin's oath doesn't have to be a religious oath.
Right.
Like, they do not have to be part of a religious order. Like, their power comes from their devotion to whatever it is they've dedicated themselves to. And yeah, sometimes it's religious, and most paladins that people tend to play are religious because it helps fit them into the larger backdrop of the story. But I love paladins. Like, they're my favorite thing to make. Paladins that instead are so deeply committed to some higher ideal, whatever that happens to be, that they just are imbued with divine magic just from their commitment. And I think that that's something that's really, like, I love that about the paladin class. Like, Malkuth Soldier in the chat saying, like, the Oath of Crown.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like, isn't there, like, the Forest Paladin or the Oath of the Green?
Yeah, Oath of Ancients.
Oath of Ancients,
being able to, like, that's almost like, I always compare that to the Pact of the Archfey Warlock. But it's kind of even more just, like, nature-based than that. You aren't necessarily devoting yourself to a Fey entity. It's just, like, nature.
Yeah, I think the same reason that people don't, and this is a rant, so I'm gonna nip it in the bud before it goes too far. I love Superman, and I think the same reason that people give Superman shit, it's the same reason people give Paladins shit. It's because it's easy to look at them a certain type of way from a distance, but the magic in them is when you really take a look at who they are. Like,
yes,
you've really gotta take a look at a paladin. It's the only thing that separates a paladin from a fighter, to me, is that they are so passionate about what they do that it's almost supernatural. Like,
exactly,
and
yes,
that's the key to charisma being such an important stat for the paladin. It's not like God's looking down on me, so I'm better. It's just like, I care about this thing that I'm working for so much that I'm going to train my body for it, that I'm going to train my mind for it, and that the passion of it is so potent that even standing next to me protects you. Like, it's just,
yes,
beautiful.
exactly. I mean, part of the reason that I joke that I'm a paladin is that, well, I don't joke I'm a paladin, I would be a paladin. Part of the reason I say that I'm a paladin is because I, for my entire life, have been told that I have big mom friend energy. Like, I am the friend who is going to take care of you and, like, let you know when something is a bad idea and just, like, shelter you. And, I, like, really feel that kinship with the paladin class. Like, you're talking about Superman. My favorite superhero is Captain America.
Yeah.
And that is because I so love when Captain America goes rogue because of his ideals.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, commit. Like, follow what you said was important to you and screw the system. Like, paladins are always played as, like, these lawful good, dedicated to, like, order and justice. And I'm like, not necessarily. Paladins are just so committed to something.
I watch the rogue,
and
if the rogue steals, I stop him. Go fuck yourself, dude.
Yeah, like, no, like, right now I play a cleric who has some, like, paladin flavor to her in one of my campaigns. And her sister is a rogue. And she does not give two shits about what her sister does as long as she doesn't, like, murk anyone.
Pretty much. Like, I'm very happy to have met somebody that also appreciates paladins the way that I do, because I love them. And also, awesome. Paladin mixed with sorcerer is the best multi-class, and I don't care what anybody says.
That's an interest. I am, granted, I've never gotten to a high enough level that I've gotten to play around with high-level multi-classing, but I've always been a purist with the classes, because I'm like, the level 20 skills are so good. I just want to get there someday.
I played a epic level campaign that lasted like 2 months, and it was ridiculous. Like, I gotta tell you, there's no better feeling than casting a level 20 sleep. Like, just, you know what?
Oh my god.
Woof, everybody goes to bed. I have to imagine that that comes from the history of paladins being defined by their alignment in the early days, and it just sticks in the public conscience. But paladins should totally be any alignment. Yes, we're still overcompensating for a lot of the fuck ups that early editions of Dungeons and Dragons established.
Like, earlier editions put so many restrictions on the classes that stick around to this day. Like, that's why so many barbarians are stupid, is because it used to be if you were a barbarian, you were illiterate.
Yeah.
And, like, that's why paladins are always portrayed as sticks in the mud. And I'm just, like, I got my start in 4E, and I loved it at the time. But, oh man, I love, especially that the tables that I've played at have given me the freedom to entirely challenge the premise of what a character is supposed to be. Like, challenge the tropes of those characters that have come from the years and years. Like, I love being a young person who plays Dungeons and Dragons, because I'm like, no, screw all you old people with your assumptions of what the game should be. I'm gonna play it however I want.
Yeah, I got my start with 3.5, but I got invited to a game of D&D Advanced. It did not go well. we will put it like that. There's the story of what happened somewhere on this channel, but it ended with it ended with them being the type of people they are. I truly do feel that the tabletop community has grown so much from the infusion of more POC, more women, more younger individuals. There's just an influx of creativity and passion that's opening the doors, because I don't see the fun in restrictions. I don't see the fun in going, no, you can't. And that seemed to be the cornerstone of editions in the past, but now going forward, you can really tell that everybody's taken to yes and in a very real way. Like, it's never no, it's okay, how? Let's
Mhm.
build the story on how we're gonna fucking make this happen. So I am very excited about that. So
Yeah, and I mean, drawing on my experiences at tables is like, as I've played more and more, because I said I've been playing for a decade and I've played through a couple of editions at this point. Uh, the thing that has changed for the better is that the players have become more and more active in creating the world and the story. Like, I used to DM 4th edition, and that story was very DM driven. There wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room for the characters. But like, as I've gone on through the years, and also, you know, more people have been exposed to it. Like, Darby only started playing a couple of years ago, but now she's one of the most gifted tabletop players I know. And it just, like, the more people who are interested, the more perspectives you bring to a table, the better the stories you're gonna get. Yeah, Darby, I'm embarrassing Darby right now.
good. We need to give Darby more love as punishment for those puns. But no, like I get that, and the accessibility that we're all. I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
as soon as I said
yeah.
punishment, I was like, I opened myself wide open to it. But the accessibility of the hobby now, and it's still nowhere near where it should be, but where we're at now, we are able to open the door to more people. And one of my favorite things in TTRPG is where somebody that has never played before plays and does something at the table that throws everybody for a loop.
Yes.
It's just, I recently had that experience with something that we filmed yesterday. It's not out yet. I can give you. I don't care. So, character. We see a circle of plants. I will say to change it up enough where I won't get murdered. We see a circle of plants, and we know that if you step inside the plants, something bad will happen. And we were playing with somebody that hasn't played before, and they were playing kind of a ditzy character, and they were just like, "I'm bored," and just pushed 2 people into the fucking circle.
Oh my god!
And sent them to the Feywild.
What?
Yes.
No! Oh, okay. Fun thing about me, very, very, very short rant about me. I hate the Feywild. I hate it so much. It's the worst part of D&D for me. I hate it so much. Rant over. Please continue with your story.
And that's essentially where it is. I love different people's interpretation of the Feywild.
I love hearing how people make the Feywild. I love hearing different DMs' interpretations. I love the way that our DM is crafting the Feywild and the story we're in right now. I think it's so interesting. I hate playing in it. It's the worst.
That's fair. Because it's just like, everything is anything. I hate this. I want to go home.
Yeah. I'm a person who likes to know the rules, and then I can decide whether or not to give a fuck about them. The Feywild has no rules. And, like, if there's one thing that my characters and I tend to share, is that, like, I mean, maybe it's just because of, like, how I was raised and the way that I live my life now, is that, like, I tend to make characters that are very entrenched in the systems of the world, and then I like to see how they grow over the course of the story to better understand those systems, and, like, how they become disillusioned, but then also how they maintain a sense of idealism. And so my characters are always very systems based. Like, they understand the way that the world that they grew up in works. And the Feywild doesn't have a system. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
I think the Feywild exists specifically to allow DMs to just take the gloves off and just go nuts. I think whoever made the Feywild, whoever made the first Feywild adventure was just like, you know what? I've had it with my with my characters, with my players. I'm just going nuts.
Yeah. And, I love the stories of, like, the Fey that the Feywild is based upon. I think they're amazing stories, and I'm never gonna like trash talk the Fae in case they're real and come for me.
You got the summer and winter court at your door, like, we heard you was talking shit.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not gonna trash talk it too much. I'm just like, yes, when I am a player in Dungeons and Dragons, I never want to step foot in the Feywild. It always ends badly. Like, there's never been a point at which any character I've ever had went into the Feywild and came out being like, oh, that was a really fun experience. I'm glad I did that. No, it always sucks.
Oh god, so clearly we need to see you on a live play in the Feywild at some point. DMs and show producers, Harper here really needs to be in a show of the Feywild. Make it happen.
I mean, if anyone, I'm gonna be real, if anyone wants to bring me in for a stream, wants to bring me in as a guest when they're going on their Feywild arc, I am happy to come in and be that asshole who's like, that doesn't make sense. This is weird. Why are we here?
Chromatic
what are we doing?
Encounter roleplay. I know y'all got a presence here. we got one up, serve. Serve her up. All right, so just starting shit with you. I'm sorry, but I'm not. So we've got a level 17 character. We're looking at a paladin. Mm-hmm. How do you go about choosing races? And just a disclaimer, I understand that races right now in 5th edition is a little bit of a controversial thing, but we're just going to go along with the spirit of having fun in the game. So please, if this is a subject that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, go get some water, hydrate, come right back, and then we'll get into the adventure. But until then, how do you go about choosing your races?
I am a pretty hardcore member of the basic club, by which I mean my favorite race to roll is humans. I think they are so interesting because, I mean, the way that it's written is like they're the every person, they can do anything, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of bullshit, because if we were in a fantasy world, that probably wouldn't be the role that we took.
Yeah.
And the way that it's constructed is that you basically get no racial abilities and you can't see in the dark.
Like, I don't see humans in the Olympics if all these other races actually exist.
Exactly, yes. So I do love exploring the potential that humans have, because they do have that thing of like, you can be better at everything, or you can start off already having a feat. But for this particular character, I'm thinking of a paladin that kind of breaks the paladin trope a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm already kind of thinking of a subclass.
What do we got in mind?
I have an Oath of Redemption in mind, because I find Oath of Redemption. Oh God, they're the soft chewy center of my heart. Oath of Redemption paladins. I love them so much because they are an actual functional pacifist, and that's like not something that's easily done in D&D. And so if I'm talking about like I love to break tropes, if I'm thinking, okay, I want to play an Oath of Redemption paladin, I think, what is a race that, traditionally speaking, the way most people play it, is not a pacifistic race. And so that's kind of like, I'm running through the catalog in my head right now. And what kind of pops up are the ones that you are more likely to associate with barbarians, like Goliaths and Dragonborn, and things like that.
For some reason, Dragonborn is just that. I don't know if you have this, but there's just races I don't play. I never play Dragonborn.
I'm gonna be real, I don't play Dragonborn because there aren't any Dragonborn pit crews.
I don't play Dragonborn because I've never seen a Dragonborn that I was just like, yeah, they're hot. Dragonborn aren't hot to me. I want to be hot.
Yep, that's fair. So I'm looking through the races on D&D Beyond, just scrolling to see if I get any.
Same with Aarakocra. I can't see myself being a hot bird. I've never looked at a bird and was just like, yeah.
I have very intentionally never made any of my characters to be particularly attractive. I'm just like, I want them to be regular. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that all D&D parties are consist of, like, I get it because it's people want to play a fantasy, but I'm just like, somebody in the party has to be normal, and I guess that's me.
See, for me, it's either I'm like drop dead hot, or I'm just like, nobody notices me. I'm just a dude.
Yeah,
Lately,
I usually go just like
swings on the hot side though.
Do you know what I'm actually very interested in right now?
What?
Is I think that a tiefling Oath of Redemption paladin would be very interesting.
I like
kind of because of the backstory that tieflings have of often being very conflicted about their origins, and also because I think that people in general get kind of squicky about pairing tieflings with paladins and clerics because people have weird things about gods and tieflings.
Yeah.
But I really like tieflings. I think that they're incredibly interesting. So I think I'm going to lean toward a tiefling.
All right.
For this particular character.
We are looking so far at a level 17 tiefling Oath of Redemption paladin. Whew. Oh boy. Actually, this whole time I've been setting up the encounter.
Oh God. Okay.
That you may run into. And I have the inklings of a story in mind, and I'm
great.
very excited, especially with the Oath of Redemption. Now, because we do this in such a short time, I asked that we work very yes and with the backstory.
Yes, that is the name of the game for us.
Yes, and especially with Oath of Redemption, I think we have something very special in mind for you. So here's how we roll stats here on Dungeons and Deepdish. It is 4d6. Take the highest 3, re-roll ones.
That is exactly how we do it on Chaotic Creations.
Yep.
It's the best system.
It really is. You know, like everybody's like, what if you roll your 18s? Sometimes people are just good at shit.
Yeah.
It just happens. Sometimes people are just real bad at shit. I've rolled more than my fair share of 4 2s, and I hate it.
The character that I play right now has a 7. It's her dexterity.
Oof! Oof!
Because I thought, why not challenge myself and make dexterity the dump stat? Turns out it was a bad idea. There's a reason people don't do it. Because it impacts everything.
Everything. Oh
like
my
AC,
God.
Initiative.
Yeah.
Stealth rolls, and it turns out we're playing a stealthy campaign.
Acrobatics, which comes like acrobatics is that skill that like depending on your DM, it's either really important or you might as well not. And whenever I think that I'm playing with a DM that's like, oh, he's never gonna make me do an acrobatics check, it's just like, you fall, and if you want to reduce the damage, you can go ahead and try and tumble with an acrobatics. Go for it. Like, fuck, I didn't see that coming.
Okay. Are you ready to absolutely hate the rolls that I made?
Yes, let's see what we got.
Okay, so the rolls that I made just for the start, without applying racial bonuses, without applying level up bonuses, I got 2 16s, a 15, 2 14s, and a 13.
Jesus Christ.
And I mean level 17, so we're gonna hit 4 ability score increases. Okay, this will be fun.
Yeah, you're about to have a good ass time.
Oh Lord. Okay, here we go.
So, while we put the finishing touches on the character, this is a great time for us to take our break. So everybody go ahead, hydrate, take your bios. Harper, go ahead, wrap up your character, then do anything that you need. We're looking at maybe a 5 to 10 minute break, y'all. Please come on back for the story of, hold on, what's the character name?
Oh gosh, Oh, that's such a bad. Okay. Well, I'm looking at the chat, and someone said the aliens have landed, and now I literally can't think of a name besides Eileen
Oh,
because it sounds
did
like
we just get a
alien.
raid? Hey, thanks for the raid.
Yep. And I literally can't think of a name besides Eileen, and I think I want to change it so it's Aileen, so Aileen.
Okay, we are going to be back with the story of Aileen, the tiefling, Oath the Redemption paladin. We're going to see what they.
I think we'll go with her.
Okay, we're going to see the story. We're going to see her story and how that plays out. So, again, 10-minute break. See you all in just a bit.
Writing so furiously right
Hello, everybody. Thank you for waiting with us. We are back, and we are going to begin the story
Mhm.
of Aileen. The
I do have a surprise for you, Noir, is that I actually have a brand new set of dice just for this one shot.
Oh snap! Okay, well I hope they serve you well, because my dice tend not to serve me well. So that's good. That's good news for you.
We'll see.
But we are about to tell the story of Aileen, the Tiefling Oath of Redemption Paladin. Our story is actually going to start a couple of years back. Aileen used to travel with a party of rather shady figures. They would go across the land of Gloria in attempts to collect components for a ritual that was only explained to them as being able to change fate to fortune them and their endeavors. With the promise of much and gold power and reputation, this mercenary troop went across the land and caused devastation in their wake. At some point, the devastation that this group caused was a little bit too much for Aileen, and this is where Aileen began her journey of redemption, collecting one of the key components to this ritual, the Tear of Potential. Aileen absconded with the component, leaving the party behind and leading them to think that it was someone else in their midst that took the component. Over time, this frame job that Aileen set up caused the party to implode. They started to attack each other, they started to blame each other. And time has passed, and Aileen has heard whispers that only two of the original party members are left, and that they are now starting to ebb ever closer to the Fallen Marsh, a really murky part of Gloria, a small swampy village that Aileen has set up shop in, mainly because it's close to a terribly haunted area called the Sealed Grave, where Aileen has hidden the Tear of Potential, figuring if she alone weren't enough to protect the object, perhaps the land itself could assist. So with that, we start our adventure with a normal day in the life of Aileen. It's a small village, and most of the people here have gotten to know you, but they don't really have much of an idea of your past. What profession have you been hiding under? What identity have you presented to the people of the Fallen Marsh?
I think that she probably has abandoned her mercenary warrior ways, and has taken up something that allows her to be very, simple and calm and meditative. So I'm going to say that she is now a seamstress. It's very meditative work.
Okay. And so you're a seamstress, and Agatha, who is one of the lead farmers in the village, is she's hobbling down, and while the streets are paved, it hasn't been maintained well. The infrastructure here is still really shoddy, so there's like mud and swamp that's kind of overtaking the roads a little bit. And she comes and knocks on your door. You can hear a knock from her hand, and then a kick from her shoes, which is kind of tradition here because it's people preparing to enter your home by kicking the mud off their shoes onto your door. Everybody's door here looks shitty, but
only polite. I'll go and I'll open the door.
Hi. Have you presented yourself as Aileen, or have you given a false name?
I think that I have presented myself as Astra.
Okay.
I think that's my false name.
Astra, hey, so we're starting to put together the Piggly Wiggly hoedown, and I need your services. I was looking to well, Fred, and Fred is another one of the farmers here. He's a young man who is just about leaving his father's land to start a farm of his own. She goes, Fred's working up the nerve to ask me, and I want to have something ready for when he does. And I don't have much gold, but if you need any pigs or any crops, I have that would be sweet. Agatha is slightly older. She's around like 40 or 50. She has a reputation for liking to sway the younger gentlemen in town. It would be controversial, but nobody here really gives a shit. Everybody's like, do your own thing. So she's just like, if there's anything I can do for you. She's got silver hair. You can tell that she works. She's very strong. Like, she doesn't have people doing the farm work for her. She does it herself. So she's like, she sounds frail, but she's built for an older lady. She's just like,
I love her.
Take care of you. If you could just make you always make the prettiest stuff.
Well, I think that it would be a shame for you to not look your best. I would be happy to help.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm so excited. Are you taking anybody to the Piggly Wiggly hoedown?
Oh, no. I prefer to attend such things when I do attend alone.
We're gonna get you somebody. She just like nudges you a little bit. But having heard that you're willing to take the dress for her, you can tell that she she's doing that thing where she's trying to look inside your house just to see what's going on, but it's very clear that you're at the door. She goes, "Oh, well, okay, all right. And I heard that we got visitors approaching Fallen Marsh, so maybe a suitor will come in, you know?"
Well, that's always an event when we have visitors. What do you know about them?
Oh, I've just heard a little bit of that. There's a tiny fella, red hair, big bottle glasses. He looked real cute. I think he's a gnomish fella. I don't know if you like him small, but I don't have anything wrong with the small fellas myself. Go ahead and roll me a intelligence check.
Okay. That's a pretty average roll. 12.
It's a low DC. It was a 10. Sounds like somebody you know. That sounds like it might. That sounds like it might be Fred. Fred was the
other Fred.
Yeah, Fred was a wizarding buddy that you knew. And he was not. There aren't too many gnomes or halflings in the Fallen Marsh, mainly because the land here is so sticky and tricky that as a short fellow myself, it's hard enough to walk in snow. I'm not gonna walk in swamp if I don't have to. So and they're very much in the same mindset. So that kind of sets off alarms. And with that she goes, and that's about all I heard.
Well, you said visitors, and You know, I don't have any problem with short men per se, and I am imagining that Aileen with the horns is like 6'5". She has the horns that kind of go back and then straight up.
Oh my
I say, you said there were visitors. Is there anyone else coming to town? Maybe someone a little bit more
just
my stature?
Just the musicians for the Piggly Wiggly Hoedown. But they're the same that always come in. We've got the Maroon 8. You know, they're coming, play their songs. You know, we've got AFL. You know, they're gonna sing their songs. We've got My Chemical Romance. Just all sorts.
Of course, yes. All right. Well, it would be a pleasure for me to make a dress for you. Would you like to meet me at my shop later?
I'd love to. That would be fantastic. Around what time should I be here?
What time is it now?
She got to you pretty early, so we're looking at like 10 in the morning.
Okay. Well, I'm finishing a rather tricky bit of embroidery right now, so maybe stop by at about 1 o'clock, just after lunch.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you so much, sweetheart. And she just kisses your hand, and you know, again, it's surprisingly how forceful this little small lady is, but you know, again, she's jacked. So, she dawdles off, and you have the day to yourself a little bit. You got your work of embroidery to do, but you've got this new information that's some new folks might be coming to town.
Oh, I don't have embroidery to work on. I was lying.
You lied to Agatha. So, what do you do with your day?
I am kind of spooked that she mentioned someone who sounds like Frederick. So I would like to go and grab my old shield and my walking stick and kind of put them right next to the door. And I don't know if I want to go check on the sealed grave or not. I kind of want to. You know what? Yeah, I will grab my shield and I'll grab my walking stick and like a sack with some lunch in it. And I want to start making my way toward the sealed grave because I want to check on things.
Okay. So you start to make your way to the sealed grave. And the thing is, the sealed grave is in the middle of a foggy, swampy mess of an area that people just don't go. Luckily, you are clever and you travel with a group of adventure for years. So you left yourself plenty of markers to relocate the seal. However, time has passed. So go ahead and just roll me a survival check to see how quickly or if you get kind of turned around at all.
Okay. Oh. That would be an 8.
Okay, so you find yourself getting a bit turned around. And, you know,
I'm just really stressed out about maybe Fred has found me. I'm not sure. I'm preoccupied.
You know, if you can't find it, you're gonna make it more difficult for us to find it, too. Oh, hi. It's Fred. How many words do I have left? And then it cuts off.
That's ascending, right? I can respond?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't come this way if I were you. The bog might be a little too deep for your stature.
Couple minutes pass.
Don't have a choice. Mistress on a mission again, and sorry, it's either you or me. And well, I like me.
I have always liked you too. Don't see why we're the only options here.
Time passes and nothing.
Okay.
But you do know that Fred is very... You know how some people have a process that they follow even though they don't need to follow that process?
Yep.
Fred's process was, even though he doesn't need to see who you are or where you are to you see me, he always scribed first. So just your experience with him is enough to know that he's watching you, wherever he is. The other thing that you know is that Mistra was very much a blitzkrieg kind of person. Mistra never wanted you to know when she was coming for you. She would just come.
Right. Okay.
So Fred's doing as much of a solid as he can, but that was always Fred's thing. You never knew which side he was on. So you're kind of lost in this bog, and you know Mistra's coming, and you know that she's got Fred. Up to you what happens next.
If I know that Fred is watching me, I would like to... Because I adventured with him for a while, so I'm more or less aware of his capabilities. I would like to lead him on as wild of a goose chase as I can through the bog.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll me another survival check to make sure that you don't yourself get lost while giving him this wild goose chase.
Okay, better. It's a 17.
Okay. So you know what you're doing. Something strange is happening, however. The last time you were here, there was death everywhere. Like, there would just be random zombies and all sorts of undead creatures, and there are not. In fact, you notice that every now and then, the ground and the mud, in the ground and the mud, it's almost like silver veins are running through the land. And you catch them pulsing every now and then. And the color of the veins are very similar to the color of the tier of potential.
Uh-oh. Do they seem to be getting more dense as I move my way through the bog, or is it just like occasionally some will pop up?
You know that whenever in your wild goose chase, you know, you zig closer to the tier, but then you zag away. Whenever you zig close to it, the vein gets thicker and the pulsing is brighter. Whenever you zag away, the vein gets smaller and it's...
Yeah, I never liked this thing. After I've wandered around for enough time that I'm pretty sure that Fred's not watching me anymore, I want to start edging my way closer to the tier where I've hidden it.
All right, so I'm going to ask you for one more survival check.
Okay, another 17.
Okay. So you're able to make your way there. You've left little markers, just little carvings in rock. And you're at... It's weird. You left the tier in a dead willow tree stump that you dug into, and you hid it, and then you put rocks and soil and all manner of stuff over so that the light of it wouldn't shine and that it would just be another dead stump.
Okay.
You see a giant willow tree with tiers of potential on each end of its branches.
Oh, I fucked up. Okay. Does the tree look like the trunk of the tree, like that's grown up from the stump? Does it look like a regular willow tree, or does it look
like a regular willow tree just riddled with those veins? And the veins are what's kind of coiling around the branches, and at the end of it, just little tear-like fruits. And you can take a closer inspection at the tears if you like. But
I would like to do that, yeah.
Okay, so you pluck one and you look at it, and inside you see what looks to be, it's almost like a crystal ball in the shape of a tear, and you see a man unsheathing his sword and charging in to what looks like a hopeless battle, and then there's white wisp on the inside.
Do I recognize Darby? I hate you. Do I recognize this man?
No, you don't appear to. Oh my god, Darby.
I want to pluck another tear off the tree and see if I see the same vision in that one.
So you pluck another one and you see a gigantic minotaur who seems to be tending a wounded child, just, taking care of their needs, their knee that was scraped up in the middle of a fight. And a giant beast kind of appears behind him, and he opens his hands, and you see flames as he gets ready to defend. And then it's a miss.
Okay. What did I know about? Did I know anything about this tier before I took it?
You knew that what this tier does is it holds prophecies for. It held a prophecy for a hero in the future. The reason that it's called the tier of possibilities is that essentially what it is the distilled destiny of a great hero that the world will need. And there was only one in the world, and it was for a cataclysm that was supposed to occur. And using this, you could control what would happen with that point in time. Now it appears that there are countless heroes for countless needs that you may have grown.
Okay, maybe I didn't fuck up so bad then. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Oh gosh. I feel so conflicted about this because on the one hand, before the one tier showed catastrophe and I wanted to stop that from being manipulated. But also, I don't want to drag all of these people into the adventuring lives, and now I feel responsible for that. So that's really fun. So I kind of want to... I'm pretty confident that they're not, like, right on my tail. I'm feeling okay about that. Mm-hmm. I want to take a look around the tree, and I want to see, just, like, glancing into the different tiers, if I see any that look familiar to me, like if they show familiar places or people.
Okay, so you take a look at one, and you see this tiny bird holding an axe, charging into a fight. You're looking at him, and finally, you notice that in the center in the center of the trunk, there is another one that's in the size of the original one that you had. Do you take a look at it?
I do.
All right. So what you see is the back of a tiefling looking into a tree branch or a tree trunk, and the air behind her seems to be cut, and a doorway forms, and you recognize Mistra walking out. And as you look into it,
I look behind me.
You hear, and you see a dimension door, and Mistra walks out. So, here we are.
I wondered how long this might take.
Are you going to look at Mistra, or are you going to look at the tier?
I look back to the tier.
You are looking at you. And you say something that you need to hear. What do you tell yourself?
This is like the actual thing of if you could say something to your past self, what would you say?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
This is a stressful and terrifying moment for Aileen.
Mm-hmm. I hear myself say, "Turn around, you lunatic."
So Aileen tells Aileen to turn around, you lunatic, and what do?
I am very startled, and I turn around and I stop looking at the tier because I'm assuming that my future self was like, "Hey, stop watching this. Mistra's right there."
All right, and Mistra is looking at you with an intensity that this was a look that you never wanted to get from Mistra, because you knew that once she set this gaze on you, she would eat her own heart out if it meant that you died too. And she goes, "Clever trick. Far more clever than I thought you were capable of."
I'm going to be honest. It was a bit of an accident, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm processing my emotions, but I will deal with that later.
Emotions? What happened to you?
A conscience, I think.
Well, I know only one solution for that, and with that, she pulls out just a sickly looking great axe, and it slams into the ground. And you hear, go ahead, roll me a perception check.
Okay. 4.
You still hear this, but it's a little overwhelming. You hear the voices of 1,000 heroes telling you, "Defend us, protect us, protect us, defend us. We need you. Don't let us fall."
Okay. That's a little overwhelming, but
So,
I pull my shield out in front of me and I ready my quarterstaff.
all right, and now it's time for initiative.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad, actually.
That is not bad. Alright. Mistra rolled has an 18 total. What do you got, Aileen?
I got a 20 total.
Nice. So you hear these voices: "Protect us, defend us, protect the time only." And it's jarring, but it does fill you with, you've known that this is where your journey of redemption has led you. This was ultimately what had to happen. And now you understand the weight of what you truly fight for. You've seen them. You understand that if you fall, Mistra controls the fate of every hero that will be from this day forth. So you launch into an attack, and what?
I am going to... How big is the tree, would you say?
The tree is, I want to say, about 20 feet tall.
Okay.
It's more wide than anything, in the sense that there are just, it's almost countless tiers on it.
Okay. So this spell would not be enough to... I couldn't put the entire tree inside of a wall of force, could I?
You can try.
Okay, I want to attempt to use my turn to cast Wall of Force around the tree to protect it.
So you cast Wall of Force, and just a gust of wind shoots from your hands, and you see a dome surrounding the tree, and just a shimmer of arcane energy start to surround the tree, and you're starting to realize that you don't have enough control over the weave to manipulate it to protect the entire tree. Mm-hmm. One of the tiers falls from the weave, and stands a ghostly transparent figure, and he walks by your side, puts a hand on your shoulder, extends his hand, and then just another gust of wind. The whole tree is protected. And as he disappears, you just hear him go, "Protect us." And you recognize that was his moment. That was what he was supposed to do.
Oh my gosh, okay. So I'll turn back to Mistra, and I've put myself outside the wall of force, so I'm on the other side of it. I'm with her. The tree's on the other side, and I'm just gonna tell her, gonna have to get through me, I guess.
I've cut through worse. And now it is her turn. Her eyes go black as you see necrotic energy begin to surround her hand. She is going to... No, the energy around her hand is not necrotic. But you do see arcane lightning surrounding her as she juts her hands out, and the weave around you gets stiff. I need you to go ahead and make me a wisdom save.
Oh, I'm good at those. Okay.
The number to beat is 18.
Okay. Nope. That's a total of an 11.
Okay. So you tell her, "You're gonna have to get through me." She goes, "I've cut through worse." And with that, she flings her hand, and you can't move. And she begins to approach you. It is your turn. Go ahead and make me another wisdom save.
Okay.
At the end of it.
Great. Oh, that's better. Dirty 20. Total of 20.
She's making her way toward you. She has her axe lifted high, ready to just cut into your defenseless body. And you hear a small child in your head go, "Snap out of it!" And right as the axe comes down, you break out of it, and she attacks.
Okay.
Jesus. That is going to be a 18.
That'll hit. Aileen's not wearing any armor.
Yep. So she just comes cracking down with this great axe. And let's see. Okay, that's only on a critical hit. Okay, cool. I should have all my dice ready. So let's go ahead and do the damage.
Okay.
17 damage.
Oh, okay.
As it bites into you. And then as it cuts across your torso, she anchors back for another swipe, and she will swing. Let's see, that's also gonna hit. That's a 23.
Yeah, that'll definitely hit.
Less damage this time. So that's 13 damage on the second attack.
Okay. Okay, down 30 damage one turn.
You know how this ends for you. Drop. Oh, yes, concentration check as well.
Oh, shoot, for both of them. Yeah, okay.
I am going to say you can make your concentration check at advantage.
Okay. Okay. The first concentrate. Do I make one for each of the slashes that I took? Or do I make one for the two?
Yeah, you need to make two of them. So you get both of them at advantage.
Oh, okay. So the first one... the first one is a 23.
Okay.
And the second is also a 23.
Hell
Two
yeah.
19s.
Hell
Okay.
yeah. And we changed the music here. There we go. Alright, so you get cut into real deep with this axe, and you stagger backwards, and just when you're beginning to lose the spell, you see in your mind a hand reach out to you, and you imagine your hand reaching back, and the light of the force cage shivers and shines even brighter, to the point where Mister has to really. So what is this? God or something? You found God?
I don't know if it's necessarily God. I think maybe it's just other people.
It is your turn.
Okay. I'm going to... Is this a bonus action or is this an action? Sorry, I'm just looking up the description of the spell.
Oh, what spell?
Oh, I already burned. Never mind. I already burned my 5th level spell slot. I cannot use Holy Weapon.
Ooh.
That's okay though. And I tell her, I think that maybe you need to get some perspective. And I want to attempt to cast Banishment on her.
Okay. She needs to make a charisma check if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, I believe it's charisma.
And what's your DC?
Oh, I didn't even calculate my DC. Hold on.
It should automatically be in the spell section on D&D Beyond.
Oh, I did not make it on D&D Beyond.
Oh, okay. 8 plus your proficiency plus your spellcasting modifier.
8 plus 6 plus 5 is 19.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. So let's see if she makes it. 8 plus 7 is not going to make it.
Yes!
You go, I think it's just other people. She goes, please. And she's gone.
Okay. I have a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shoot.
And the force.
Oh, no, the wall of force drops. Okay, I have a minute to make a plan. Planning was never my strong suit.
And right when you say planning was never my strong suit, you see just it almost like steam appear right next to you, and then and you see Frederick. Wow. Didn't think you last that long.
Hi, Freddy.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Let's hedge my bets.
Yeah. Do you maybe want to bet on my side?
Oh,
just a little bit?
It's looking pretty close to call right now. He points to the axe wounds that you endured.
I've gotten a lot tougher since the last time we saw each other. I can definitely take more of her, but I have not very much time left to figure out what I'm doing next, so I need to know if you're helping me or not here.
Okay, all right, yeah, fine, I'll help. What are we gonna do?
So I turn back to the tree. I need to protect this because, as far as I can tell, there are maybe thousands feels right. It looks like a big number, and I'm not the greatest with big numbers. There are a lot of lives on this tree, and I don't think Mistress should be in charge of all of them. And I think that maybe we should let them decide what they're going to do and not let Mistra be in charge of that. So I kind of need your help to protect this tree.
Okay, I can move the fight. That's all I got.
Where can you move the fight to?
Got anywhere in mind?
I mean, there are some nice abandoned fields near the farms in town.
Okay.
That might work.
Alright. So, when she comes back, I'm gonna put a door behind her. You just gotta push her in.
Okay, I think I can probably do that.
Alright. And you feel the time duration of the spell going. And he goes, and you can tell that time is kind of what he does. So he's just like, are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
Okay. 3. And he starts to do the somatic and verbal components.
I want to ready my shield for a shove.
2. 1. And she just appears, and right when she appears, you go in for the tackle. Go ahead and roll me an athletics check.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
Oh! That's a natural 20 plus a 9.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but that is a natural 1.
I don't think I can show chat my desk, but that is a natural 20.
Okay, so with that, she just appears. What the? Like you just go full linebacker on her. And just to add some extra insult to injury, Frederick made his dimension door appear on the other side of the empty field, 10 feet in the air. So she comes crashing down and you land on top of her. She will take an extra 2d6 of damage for that. Okay. You land on her and you look around and you hear, what are you? I wasn't supposed to see you until 1 today. And you see Agatha in the fields, and Mistra is just kind of getting her bearings back, like, what? And that will make it Mistress' turn.
Okay.
Mister gets up using half her movement, and she goes, "You know what, Helene? You are really starting to piss me off." And with that, her eyes go black again.
Mm-hmm.
And she is going to point her finger into the air, and you see just the smallest green bead hover above it. And she points at you.
Okay.
And I need you. Hold on. I don't actually think. Oh no, she can't do that. Oh no, yeah, she can't do that. But what she will do instead is she will touch you with her hands crackling with black energy. I need you to go ahead and make me a Constitution check.
Oh god, okay. A check or a saving throw?
Saving throw, sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's 17.
Okay. That is a fail.
Ah, shoot. Oh god, okay.
Alright, 1 second.
This is going great. I'm definitely not in over my head with a walking stick. And no armor on. Yeah, right. Darby, that is a lot of dice. I am concerned about what's about to happen right now.
Wow. Okay. Alright, so that's 45 necrotic damage.
Oh, okay.
As just she reaches and touches you, and you feel life being just purged from your body.
Awesome.
You hear a voice in the distance going, Agatha? I mean, Aileen, is this your friend? What's going on here?
Is it Agatha?
Yeah.
Well, I said I had embroidery to do. You know, you can do embroidery with lots of things. Thread, time.
Is she giving you problems?
A little bit, but, you know, this is an old score.
Okay. It is... Gotta roll her into the initiative now. It is Agatha's turn. And Agatha walks up and goes, "Honey, you need help?"
I want to look. I want to like size her up a little bit. Is she like carrying any weapons?
No.
Are you?
And Mr. looks at this old lady and goes, "Who the fuck is this?" And Agatha goes, "Oh, sweetie, please watch your mouth." So it's hold on 1 second. That is going to be a crit.
Oh shoot.
And that will also be a stun. So you see Mr. just out of it.
Okay.
And that will make it your turn.
Okay. Well, I'm just the slightest bit worried, but I am going to take my quarterstaff and I'm going to take a smack at Mistra, I guess.
It is at
I look
advantage.
At advantage, okay.
Yes.
Is Frederick anywhere around? Or is he just... He bamfed us through a door and then left?
He is not around.
Okay. Okay, it's just plus strength plus proficiency. So that's going to be a 28 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and pour a smite into this one.
Okay.
Which I think at 17th level, that's 2d8 damage.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the level of the spell.
So 3d8 if I use a first level.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? I'll make it a 4th level spell slot.
Yep.
Okay. So that would be 3d8 plus 2, 3, 4. So 68 damage.
Yep.
Plus the 1d6 from the quarterstaff.
Gotta love high-level characters.
Yeah. I'm gonna need to use I don't have enough dice for this.
Like, you think I had to pull out all my d6s? Like,
all of my I have a magnetic dice wall in the other room that has like jars of sets of dice, but I'm not gonna go get any of them right now.
Yeah, this is what I was hitting you with. Like, it was just a mess.
Oh Lord. Okay. Okay. Okay, well that's kind of trash. That's too bad. And then we'll roll damage for the quarterstaff. Oh, that's not bad. Okay. So do 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And an extra 19 radiant damage.
Oof. Okay, so she still looks solid.
Okay. And then I'm gonna use my extra attack to whack her again. And I can't use smite again, so it's just trying to whack her.
You can always use smite.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not a bonus action?
No, it's just something you do.
Oh, I love being a paladin so much. I haven't played one
And you
in a long time.
You can decide to do it after the results of the attack, so you can just save them for criticals too, if you ever wanted to.
That's fair.
Also, this attack is still at advantage. She is going to be stunned until the end of Agatha's next turn.
I love monks. That's one of my 4th level slots that I spent. And I got a natural 19 on the roll.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, that hits.
I'm gonna assume that the 28 hits.
Yeah.
And I'll pour another 4th level smite into it, I guess. How many 4th level spell slots do I have? I have 3 4th level slots. Excellent. I'll pour another 4th level smite, so another 68. That's worse than last time. Okay. And that's also worse. I'll do 7 bludgeoning damage and an extra 18 radiant damage. And then, yep. And then I want to use my bonus action to. I'm gonna be real. I'm still real worried about Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a farm woman who happens to have a good right hook. So I'm gonna cast. Oh, is this bonus action? It is a bonus action. Awesome. I'm gonna cast Compelled Duel on Mistra.
Okay.
Which is a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw. It's a 6 plus 10, 16.
Okay, so my DC is a 19.
Oh, okay. Well, the duel is on!
Okay. Awesome. So she's gotta come for me.
All right. My God. And at that point, we gotta roll Frederick into the initiative now.
Oh my god, Freddy! Freddy, don't be an asshole! Freddy, help me out!
Roll a 3.
Oh gosh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 1v1 me, bro.
Roll a 19. Let's see. You just went. Fred rolled a 19, so he's going. Okay. So, who? And you just see him kind of appear out of nowhere. Who the? Okay, whatever. And he sees that Mistra is just on the ropes, or just stunned, and he goes, "Oh, wow. Well,
some help would be appreciated, Freddy.
I'm thinking.
Please think quicker. I know that time is your thing, but I don't think you can stall it forever.
Fine. And he pokes you, and it's almost like you just downed every Red Bull you could find. You feel yourself shaking, and like you reach up to look at your hand, and you do it far faster than you expected. Like, ah!
Yes.
And you're just jazzed up. You are under the effects of haste.
Yes. Okay.
So you get a +2 bonus to your AC. You get advantage on dexterity saving throws. And you can take an additional action on each of your turns. That action can be used to take the attack action, only one weapon attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use an object. And when the spell ends, the target can't move or take actions until after its next turn, as a wave of lethargy sweeps over you.
Don't fuck me, Freddy. Don't fuck me. Don't lose your concentration on this spell.
All right. And with that, he you see his eyes kind of glaze over and go white, and he goes, "Oh, all right, I made the right choice." And then the pupils come back, and it is Mistress' turn, who is still stunned, so she doesn't get a turn. And then it's Agatha's turn. And she, should we tie her up or take her to the guards, or?
I think she might be a little bit much for the guards. Maybe I should just try talking to her. It's been a while. We should probably catch up.
Okay. And she takes a step back, and with that, Mistra, and you can see she's starting to get pissed. That is going to make it your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna say to her, Mistra, didn't you see what there was back there? It's not just one tier anymore. It's a whole tree of them, a whole tree of lives and people, and it's so much more than we ever could have imagined.
Yes.
I mean,
more power than we ever could have imagined.
I mean, or we could just let them live their own lives and make their own choices. That seems like the good thing to do.
Why don't you let them do their own thing, and I'll go about becoming the strongest individual in the world.
Or not, and I'll smack her on the top of the head with the quarterstaff.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll your attack.
Okay, that wasn't as great.
Well, you get 3 of them now.
Oh, that's true. Okay. The first one. Oh, I guess I do have really high bonus, actually. So it wasn't great, but it's still gonna be a 17. I was gonna say it's 7, right? 17.
Okay, so nope. So you swing and she dodges out of the way.
Okay. Second one is 25.
That'll hit.
And the third one is it's exactly 19.
That'll also hit. So go ahead
Okay.
and roll your damage, and you can decide to put a smite in them if you want or not.
Okay. I'm gonna put a regular smite into the first one.
Okay.
And I want to put a searing smite into the second one.
So Searing Smite is a spell, so you have to cast that.
Never mind. Okay, I'll just smite on both of them. Why not?
Nice.
I have spell slots and I'm not going to use them. So I'll make both of them at first level.
Okay, so that is 2d8 added to both of them.
3d8. I'm
3d8.
level 17.
That's right. God damn.
Yeah. This is fun.
Okay, I've never gotten that far with the paladin.
Okay, so the first one is gonna deal. Oh, that's quite good. And that's shit on the damage roll. So that's gonna be a 4 bludgeoning damage, but 16 radiant damage.
Okay.
And the second will do 5 bludgeoning damage and 15 radiant damage. And I am maintaining concentration on compelled to duel, so I think that is... Yeah, I'm not going to use my bonus action to cast anything. That's it.
All right. She's starting to bleed a little bit.
Excellent. Although, blood cleric, maybe not so great if she's bleeding. I don't know.
So she grits her teeth as the staffs keep bonking her on the head, which is really humiliating. You couldn't even give her the honor of a real weapon. And so it is after you. It is Fred's turn. And Fred, she looks at Fred and she goes, "You filthy, tiny, small traitor of a man." And he goes, "You're gonna lose, though. And, you know, I don't hang out with losers." And,
yes, Fred.
And with that, he holds his hands up, and tiny diamonds appear, hovering above each finger. And he points his hands at her, and each diamond fires off at her as he slams his magic missiles into her chest.
Okay, awesome.
That means I need to get D4s. Agatha sees this and she is just taken with it, like, ooh. Alright, so... oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ! No way!
Full
Hold
damage.
on.
Full damage. Full damage. Full damage.
He rolled nothing but 4s!
Yes! Yes, Freddy! You go, Freddy. You got this. Pick the winning side, who also happens to be the right side.
Okay, so that's... Jeez. Yeah, that's... Okay, okay. So you just see her just get knocked back a little bit. She goes, "You little shit!" He's like, "Stop making fun of my height!"
Oh, poor Freddy. I'm sorry for making fun of your height earlier.
And with that, we move on to Mistra, who yeah, she's pissed. She goes, enough. If this is how we want to play it, then this is how we'll play it. And let's see, what is she gonna do here? Yep, this is what she's gonna do.
All these years later, still really creeps me out.
Her eyes go black again, and she starts to speak just guttural utterances of demonic speech. And the words...
I speak Infernal. Do I understand her?
Yes, you hear her
Right.
basically offering her soul to any dark essence that will take it, to give her the strength needed to fell her foes and acquire the power that she intends to share with any dark being who will answer her call. And as she's spewing these words out, like black bile is starting to fall out of her lips. And it starts to spread all over, and her skin becomes pitch black. And you see her jutting forward as two wings sprout behind her. Her weapon also becomes covered in this black, thick, tar-like bile. It's dripping from the axe. And she starts to hover in the air. And she goes, "You've made the worst decision you could have made, you tiny, impotent creatures." And the voice is now not her own. It's this combination of her and the voices of multiple demonic beings. And now she swoops down to attack. And she is going to attack Freddy first.
She does have to. She
Make-
does have
yep.
disadvantage
Ooh, that's right.
because I have compelled her to duel me.
That is true. That is true.
I also have, I think, a thing that I can do about
Actually,
that.
when this happens, I'm just looking at the spell that she just cast. You notice that connection between you and her was severed.
Oh God. Okay.
And she does swoop down to attack Freddy.
Okay. Is Freddy right next to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I did take the protection fighting style, so I can still use my reaction to impose disadvantage.
Go for it, because
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that.
awesome. I almost want to tell you what happened just now. but I
Okay.
think I'm gonna tell you after the game.
Oh God.
Hold on,
Okay.
I'm doing some reading. Yeah. She goes to attack, and you see Freddy's eyes go white as though he sees what's about to happen next, and tears come down his eyes. And right when the axe comes to swing, you pull him out of the way, and he goes, I didn't see that. And she misses, and she goes for another attack on you.
Poor Freddy. Oh, he's a
And
sweet boy.
She will. I'm going to tell you. Need to remind me to tell you what happened after the game.
I will. Oh, don't worry.
She rolled a 17 to hit you.
That'll still hit. Yep.
Okay. Uh, 14 damage
Okay.
as it bites into you again.
What's half my hit points? I need to check because I have a thing. Shoot, I'm so bad at math. What's half of 174?
I don't math.
Okay, 50, 35, 2. That's 85, 87.
Oh.
Ha! I'm under half hit points. Okay.
Woof, boy. Oh, you get something for that, don't you?
I do, yeah. Level 15 Oath of Redemption ability.
All right, so, cool. You just take that damage. It is now Agatha's turn.
Okay.
Agatha is going to jump up in the air and do a spinning back kick directly into Mistra's head area.
Okay.
And miss terribly.
Oh no.
And but you know what? Flurry of Wolves, why not? That'll hit.
Yes,
And
Agatha.
miss.
Yes. Represent pig keepers everywhere.
That's not bad. That's 13 damage, but more than that. Let me put the damage down. Let's see if she's stunned. Wait, can she be stunned anymore is the question. Let me find out.
I'm so scared of a creature that can't be stunned. Oh god.
This spell is nasty. When I found this spell, I was just like, oh, I love it.
Oh yeah, I love demonic possession. It's my favorite thing.
Let's see. Flying speed.
Remind me to tell you how much I hate horror movies after this.
Oh, your weapon attacks on. Oh, she can be stunned.
Yes.
So what you
Go,
all
Agatha.
see is Agatha do a spinning kick in the air. Mr. blocks the first one, and then out of nowhere, the other foot just and Mr. goes spinning to the ground.
Yes. Awesome.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
This is a concentration spell. Does she automatically lose concentration?
If she's stunned?
I
Oh,
think she
please tell
does.
me Agatha just fucked her.
No fucking
Agatha.
way. No fucking
Agatha.
way. No
Agatha.
fucking way.
Yes, Agatha! Yes! Oh my god, yes, Agatha, thank you. Thank you.
So you see the wings dissipate into liquid bile, and Mistra is just on the ground, looking as though she's just covered in tar, struggling to get up because she has been rocked. Aileen, it is your turn.
Okay.
Agatha
Do I
is
take...
now not only stunned but also prone.
Yes! Okay, I don't think I get...
Mistra.
Yeah. At the end of my turn. Okay, that's good to know. So... Oh god. Oh, I don't have a concentration spell up. I thought that I was gonna lose concentration, but I do not have a concentration spell up right now. Yes, awesome. I would like to cast
I can't believe.
I'm kind of stunned right now. Like, I was fully planning to face off with like an ooze demon, and now I'm like, oh crap.
Believe
Okay.
This just fucking happened.
I
hate my
also...
dice so fucking much.
Your dice that dealt damage to your character.
I wasn't planning for the pig farmer thing to happen. I was just like, okay, does she have a class? Yes. Okay, what level is she? Fuck. Okay.
Oh god, I like... I had a plan and now I don't. Oh. I'm reading the description for the spell. Oh, it only lasts one round. Never mind. Okay. And she's already prone. So I was gonna cast command, but she's already prone. So never mind. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say it's you or all of them, and I choose them, and I'm gonna smack her with my quarterstaff again.
All right, let's get it.
And that is, yeah, okay. That's a 24 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit
on the first roll.
You do have advantage.
Yeah, that's a 24 with advantage.
Okay.
It's okay. 27 to hit on the second roll.
Mm-hmm.
And 28 to hit on the third roll. I went 16, 17, 18.
This is so bad.
And I guess I haven't used any second level or third level spell slots, so I guess I'm just gonna pour second level smite. No, I've used 2 second level smites. I guess I'm just gonna pour third level smites into all of those.
Oh my god.
I think I have enough third level spell slots for that. I do. I have 3 third level spell slots. I'm gonna pour in 3 third level smites.
That's what, 5d8?
5d8 for each, yeah.
Oh my god. And not include the extra d8 you get just because you're a higher level paladin. So that's 68.
No, so it's 3d8 and then plus 2 because I went up to second level, third level. So it's 5d8 each.
Okay. I thought at some point paladins just got an extra d8 whenever they attack.
Yeah, they do. It's that's what I've been adding that to my smite.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay, so bludgeoning damage for the first is gonna be math, 6 bludgeoning damage. And 29 radiant damage. Holy crap, I didn't roll anything below a 4 on those. The
She
second
is now
one.
bleeding heavily.
Okay. Yeah, the second one is gonna be 8 bludgeoning damage and 23 radiant damage. And the third is gonna be 7 bludgeoning damage and 22 radiant damage.
Okay. She is just beat to hell. It is Fred's turn after that.
Okay. Do I still have my bonus action?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You do.
Okay. I would like to use my bonus action to, I think I have one more first level spell slot. I'm gonna use to cast Shield of Faith on Fred.
Okay. Fred.
So he gets a +2 to his AC.
Fred is still on the ground looking shook. He is not going to do anything this turn. He is very messed up. Mistra is rocked. She is out. Agatha lands. And she's just waiting. And it's your turn. And you see Mistra start to... So... What? You gotta finish it? Do you even have it in you to finish it?
I won't if you don't make me. Leave the tree alone.
If it's not me, it'll be someone else.
Well, it's a good thing that I already live here, because now I can keep an eye on it.
And you would really let me go.
I think that there's still potential for you. There are still choices ahead of you.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm good at that. Okay. So I rolled a 17, but I have a plus 11. So that's a 28.
You see, when you say there's still something in you, tears start to come down and her head hangs low. What is anybody without power? It's the only thing that matters.
You could find out.
And live in the mud like you?
It's not so bad. They always kick it off their shoes before they come into your house.
And Agatha just goes, it's the nice thing to do, really. You don't want to track that into people's house. Mister gets up and she stands in a battle pose for a second. And when she does, Agatha gets back into her pose. Freddy stands next to you and he gets back into his. What do you
I just stand there.
And there is a gust of wind. And you see Mistra look and her eyes open wide. And she drops her axe. And you look behind you and you see standing the spirit of every hero that you stand in defense of behind you. Okay. Maybe there's something to it. Her eyes are no longer black. They're back to her blue regular eyes. And you've never seen what her hair naturally looks like, but the darkness falls away from her hair and it goes back to a dirty blonde color and she slouches. The sword that she wields is shaking violently on the ground and it's trying to hover into her hand. And right when it touches her hand, she casts it aside and the mud swallows it. And where it fell into the mud, a new vine of blue silver light makes its way towards the tree. And it starts to rain. And she reaches out her hands as one of the drops of rain lands in it. And you're able to see that this isn't a drop of rain. It is a new tier of potential. And you see her inside of it. Okay, Aileen. We'll try it your way. And that is the story of Aileen, the Tiefling Paladin of Redemption. I hope you had fun.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I had so much fun. Oh, I love her so much.
Yeah, that did not at all go the way that I expected it to. Now this little village is secretly badass.
You know what? Like, I love small towns because there's always that possibility that someone freaking amazing lives there and you would just never know.
So I rolled a d12 with, each class being a number on there. Agatha rolled monk and she rolled a level 12 monk.
Oh, okay.
So that is just... I mean, I knew I wanted her to be buff at the beginning. I didn't know that she actually was going to have a class. But I kind of like the way that played out. I think that was fun.
Yeah, I like her.
Now, Aileen and Mistra and Freddie and Agatha are guardians of the Tree of Potential.
Yes, I love it so much. Oh my gosh. What happened with Freddie?
So,
like, what was that?
I rolled a nat 20 and her sword is Vorpal.
Oh my god.
She was gonna cut his head off.
Oh my god.
And he saw it.
Oh, Freddie!
And he couldn't avoid it. And you're incurring disadvantage on it legitimately saved his life. And he's a diviner, so he saw what was supposed to happen. And it didn't.
Oh my god. Freddie! Oh, they're all so perfect. I even love Mistra. I think that she has a great redemption arc ahead of her in someone's story.
You now have a squire who's on the oath of redemption with you now.
Yes!
And funny enough, she's actually stronger than you. I made her a level 20. Because I was like, I wanted to be
fun.
Yeah.
Fun. I'm more her, like, teacher in the ways of the world than in fighting. She doesn't really need my help with that.
You can't kill everything first, Mistra. But they're alive, and I don't want them to be. So I do like the theme of community versus power that ended up being a thing here. Really just a fun one shot all the way around. I would love to revisit these characters one day. That was
oh my gosh, me
so
too.
much fun. But that brings us to the end of our episode, chat. I hope that you all had a fun time. I hope you enjoyed the story of Aileen as much as I enjoyed telling it and seeing it unfold. Harper, you have been amazing. Truly,
Stop.
everyone
Thank you.
needs to check out Chaos Creation Podcast. It is just mwah. But I will go ahead and let you sign yourself off. Tell the people where they can find you, what they need to keep up with you. And you know what? We're good. Yeah. We just let them all know. I'm so excited. I'm sorry, I'm buzzing. So just go ahead.
No, I'm still like on that post-session high right now that I get on where I'm like, we finished at 10 p.m., but I can't go to sleep until 1 because I need to rerun through the session. So you can find me. My personal account on Twitter is @Harpersona like Persona and games. Because I like playing tabletop games and I like playing video games and I like to tweet my opinions about those things. And if you follow me there, you'll see some updates on the podcast. You'll also see some updates on my own adventures in our home game and in the video games that I play. You can also follow the Chaotic Creations podcast it is @chaoticpod on Twitter. You can also find us online at chaoticpod.com. You can check out our episodes. We've got 4 episodes out right now. We're dropping a new one this Wednesday. The one that comes out this Wednesday is our first ever guest episode, and we get particularly chaotic in the creation. I cannot recommend highly enough checking us out this Wednesday if you like characters that are just thrown together and somehow manage to make it work. And I may or may not have some updates coming soon if you follow me on Twitter about other TTRPG related endeavors, so keep an eye out for that.
All right. Also, please do check out all the links we just put in the chat. Harper, again, just a fantastic person. This was so much fucking fun. And also, please check out the podcast and then come back to this episode because I tried my best to put in maybe an Easter egg or two.
Yeah, I recognized a couple of our sweet babies in those tears. I would love to have our adventurers make their home in Gloria.
I would love to have that. Like I want to tell more stories. She caught it. Awesome. Come on, you had a Kenku Barbarian. How could I not? But hi, everyone. I am Noir. You can find me right here on the Noir Enigma Twitch channel or on Twitter at Noir Enigma. I play games almost every day of the week on various channels. Easiest way to find me is to keep up with my Twitter. Tomorrow I'll be on Cobalt Press with Lessons of Deep Magic. Tuesdays I'll be on LFM with Degrees of Madness. It's me, Lindsay, from Laugh Love Lindsay, and the puppets from Perception Studios. It's like Avenue Q meets Call of Cthulhu. It's a good time. You should check it out. Friday, I'll be over on Chromatic Chimera with Bloody Portrait. And Saturday, as always, I'll be over on Critical Misses with Morning Ritual. Our guest this week is going to be Persephoroth from Fast Times at D&D High. So please, come check us out. It'll be a great time. Thank you so much for going on this journey with us. Get yourself a slice of pizza, enjoy your Sunday, and have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.